So guys, this is the ZTE AXON M. At first glance, it looks like a normal smartphone. She's pretty thick though. So luckily she does have a trick up her sleeve. So you can actually open it like this. It's a dual screen phone. It's not the first on the market, but I think it is the best so far. The best doesn't mean perfect, simply because there's not much competition. I've used it for about 2 weeks now, and I found to love a lot of things about it. But then there's also some work that can also go into it as well. So I'm just going to discuss with you guys what I found out about it. And after you're done watching this review, definitely check out links in the description. I'll put links to AT&T. Big shout out to them. They actually sent me this phone to review. And as of right now, there's actually a $100 gift card you can get when you pick up this device. So when you first set this bad boy up, the first thing you're going to notice is that there's no visible fingerprint scanner on the front, the back, whatever. But it's actually built into the side. So the power button right here is actually a built-in fingerprint scanner. And that's nothing new. We've seen that before with some Sony style devices. I've never personally used a device with a fingerprint scanner on the side. And in the 2-week time frame that I used this device, it worked without a hitch most of the time. You just have to make sure that your finger's up there, kind of like how you set it up. If you try to put like the tip of your finger or maybe too far up on your thumb, it won't work. But it's honestly a really good way to save space on this device. So if the fingerprint scanner was on the bottom, it would have made the bezels even bigger. And obviously we couldn't put it on the back because there's a screen back there. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, everything else about this video is basically going to be surrounded around the dual screen uses of the phone. So what we have to figure out is a dual screen phone a gimmick, or is it actually useful enough to not be a gimmick? Okay, Google, define gimmick.
Gimmick, a trick or device intended to attract attention, publicity, or business.
So Google's saying that a gimmick is a trick used to attach publicity or business. I would definitely say a dual screen phone is going to attract a lot of publicity and possibly business. We have to determine if they're trying to trick us at all. And by trick, more so, does it actually work good? Does it not suck? Does it work good in your day-to-day use? So I'm going to discuss everything I've kind of found out about this device and let y'all be the judge if you want to pick one up yourself. Okay, so first of all, this device is really beefy. It's pretty thick. You would think that they could have put some really good speakers in here. And when you consider that as a dual screen device, it's like a multimedia powerhouse. So you would expect that it has really good speakers. This is probably one of my biggest disappointments about this device. There's only one speaker at the bottom. There's a mic input and a speaker input. So if your finger covers the speaker input, it extremely muffles the sound. So let me just demonstrate this to you. And my favorite way to hold the device is like this. So just pretend like it's a 3DS. And the speaker that you cover up is right here. So let me just pick something. This looks good.
And I'm ready to make history. We couldn't do just one show. It wouldn't be fair to the history and heritage of Broadway.
So basically my favorite way of holding the device, kind of like similar to a Nintendo 3DS, your palms rest over the speaker. That is kind of a lousy experience. What I would have loved for them to do is put speakers on all the corners of the device, similar to like the iPad Pro. Like that would have been a game changer for a smartphone. Or could you even imagine front-facing speakers on the front? So this device has pretty big bezels considering. So if they could have put front-firing speakers on the top and bottom on both sides, it would have been amazing. So if the manufacturer ever comes out with a second iteration of this device, I'm expecting sound to be a huge focus because they definitely could really tap into a market that's never really been hit before on the smartphone segment. So just like you would expect on like a computer, you can change the dual screen mode. So here's mirror mode. Here's the mode that completely will just expand your monitor or your screen. Here is where you can have two things on one screen. So I could open up the camera using the camera while I'm still browsing everything else. You could open up Facebook. You can open up YouTube. So you can, like, if you want to multitask, you can definitely multitask. So one of the more useful modes is actually mirror mode. It actually copies the screen, and say like I want to pull up YouTube. Let's find a really cool YouTuber. Can you quit focusing on Google Home? Jeez. We're not doing a video on that yet. Okay, so say we have this.
Hinders this speed.
We're gonna turn that down. But we can do this. So now we have dual screen mode on full screen. So what do you think this allows you to do? It allows you to share video with a friend. So I can put this down. You guys can see. So now you're watching the same thing I'm watching. I can't really tell you how many times you would use that, but if you're like a social smartphone user where you're always like showing people things on your smartphone, and you actually got in the habit of using this, it's a game changer. And this hinge is like a lot more useful than you would think, because like for one, it works as a kickstand, so now you have a built-in kickstand. And this hinge is like a really good quality. Can you hear this? Like, it's satisfying. That click. Okay, let me stop before I break it. But, guys, I heard the startup noise of the drone of this video I was watching, and that noise triggered me so hard because I thought one of the drones was in here turning on like by itself. I'm like, oh god, it's about to get real. Y'all are gonna see some drone attack me. So that must mean the sound isn't too bad if I legitimately thought that. That sounds stupid. But honestly guys, the setup that I use the most is where we have the video on the top and then the comments on the bottom. Like that's super helpful. Like if I'm watching my own videos and people are commenting about something, I can get to that part of the video, go to the comments, respond, like, watch my video for errors or whatever they're talking about. It just works really well. And when you're holding it, like you don't notice the top screen at all. Like you're just holding the phone like it's a normal other phone just in landscape mode. Like me holding this versus me holding an iPhone, it feels the same really. You do have the option to have it whatever way you want. So if you actually literally want it full screen, you can do this. But honestly, I think this setup is a little bit of a waste because you have huge black bars on the top and bottom. And I think the little line in the middle is just a little bit too distracting. So this way, while you won't get the biggest video size, it's the most productive. And the camera setup is a little unique, guys, because obviously you can't have a camera on the back because the device closes on itself. So your front-facing camera right here is the camera. So this front-facing camera is the only camera on the device. So the way it works right now, we're on front-facing camera mode, and it's actually set to capture photos when you smile. I find when you talk though, it kind of thinks you're smiling, especially me because I'm trying to smile while I'm talking. So the thing is, you should expect this camera to have a really good front-facing camera. You guys, do you see how many times this is taking pictures? Let me turn it into video mode. So you would expect this front-facing camera to be amazing because basically the rear-facing camera is now on the front. To me, there's a lot better cameras out there. I'm used to the iPhone 10, I'm used to the Galaxy S8. This camera doesn't really cut it compared to those. It's decent, but low light is really lacking. And you would expect the depth of field to be pretty good considering we have like a dedicated rear-facing type camera on the front, but that's really not the case. So we're on the front-facing camera right now, so how would we switch to the back? So basically, just like any other phone, you tap here, and it actually instructs you to turn it around. So now that the phone is turned around, the camera that was on the front right there is now the rear-facing camera. So you can take photos just like normal. And if you want to switch back, just tap that, and then you just flip it. And we're back to the front-facing camera right here. One good thing about the big bezels is that when you're taking selfies, you can kind of put your finger right here, and it works pretty well, and nothing gets in the way. But also too, here's like a little life hack for you. You can take advantage of the hinge, put your thumb back there, and you can actually use that hinge to hold it to take selfies. You can hold onto it perfectly fine like this, and you can take like any type of selfie you want to really easily. It's kind of like does the same thing as that a pop socket does. Now you don't really need a pop socket because you have all this extra to hold on to. And a very welcome addition to this phone is a dedicated button right here. So you can have it do whatever you want, but I prefer double tap pulls up the camera. And then if you hold it, you can have it pull up something else, like YouTube. So that is pretty cool. Okay, so I've kind of praised the dual screens. So what is wrong with them? Firstly, the issue of having dual screens is something that a lot of people may not think of. But when a manufacturer creates screens, they're not going to be perfectly calibrated to match identical. So if you and 5 other people have the same smartphone and all of you go to a white image, it's going to look a little bit differently. Depending on the smartphone manufacturer, it just may vary. On my device right here, the left and the right screen is noticeably different. So if you're on a white image or even watching a video, you'll notice the left side of the screen is more blue than the right. At least that's in my instance. You could have the opposite, or you could even have a perfectly calibrated dual display. It's just probably just the luck of the draw. But another thing I noticed, which I'm not sure if this is just maybe a slight manufacturing defect, when you put the screens side by side, at least on mine, the stuff doesn't line up perfectly. Now I never notice it when my phone is on YouTube just like this because it's like they're separate screens. It's when you are looking at content and it is stretched out over both of them and you really look hard, you can see that the stuff doesn't line up perfectly. When you combine that with the color issues, it just doesn't make the dual screen thing as immersive as you would really expect. I don't know why my camera wants to focus on Google Home. I mentioned I want to see really good speakers in the next iteration of this device. What I would love for them to do in the next device is to up their game on the displays. Like think Samsung quality Infinity Edge displays. So when you put the device together, there isn't this huge jarring line in the middle. If we had infinity displays going together, they could in theory kind of like fold in on each other and create one big seamless display. Combine that with OLED and then also a really good speaker setup, like you could really be looking at the multimedia powerhouse of a smartphone to beat. But I really think ZTE is just kind of testing the market with this device to see how well it does. And as of right now, not many games or apps work well with the dual screen mode. Facebook works fine, YouTube works fine, Candy Crush works good too, but a lot of the other games I play don't. And dual screen mode with games would be really immersive, you know, because you kind of feel like you're playing a Nintendo 3DS. Because I totally am getting a 3DS vibe. Like, look at this. Like, look at this. This is my original Nintendo 3DS from whenever it came out. I got it on launch day. And look at it compared to this. Could you imagine a 3DS being this good? Like, the screen is so much better on the ZTE. If Nintendo could pair up with ZTE and make a 3DS phone, they could shut down. They could have all of my money. I personally love this device. It's like a breath of fresh air coming from every single other device. I had the iPhone 10, and when I heard that the ZTE AXON M was coming out, like I was so excited to try it just because it's so refreshing. As a smartphone reviewer, looking at square displays gets really old after a while. So having something new to play with like this was amazing. If you're getting stale and tired of your smartphone experience, this thing is really good. Let's just hope that ZTE continues to support the device, continues to provide updates, continues to provide more ways to wow us on how this dual screen experience could work. But that's all I got to say about that, guys. What do you have to say? Let me know in the comment section below. And like always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, because those definitely help my channel and these videos out a lot. And if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe, because I make all types of videos. Of course, I have a Google Home Max video coming. And of course, I have a video coming on this Ember Smart Mug. And my coffee is piping hot. It's been hot the whole time I've been filming this video, which is just amazing. So definitely stay tuned for reviews just like that. I have all types of other videos coming as well. Have a great day, guys. I know I'll see you before Christmas, but Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Everyone enjoy time with your family. Have a great day. I already said that. It's too much coffee. Bye.